Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prabhiraviparayantam Lakshmi Shahastra Sarasam Ramasevyamana Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Enum Kwanantaravindadarayata Arhar Vasantamasitambuddha Sundarantam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandala Sanyamamshi Ratnagaram Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shyamam Tribhangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Ashyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujjvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitamachyutamanadi Anantarupam Adyam Purusham Navayam Durlabha Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantashtukoti Satvatsrasam Vayo Ratapi Mato Mukhapan Topyasya Vajasinta Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Payosi Rachaitum Jagadanda Yacha Shirasya Jagadanda Yadaya Ganta Andadarasta Paramanu Chayandarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manuprataiva Prapya Rupam Masanayana Bhusha Tuvante Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Kavira Eva Nidharupatayakalabi Goloka Eva Nidharupatayakalabi Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premadjana Surita Santa Sadeva Hidayeshu Vitokayanti Yamashama Sundar Machinta Gunasarupa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samadhi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavataram Karod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samprabha Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Kote Koteshvashesha Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam Tad Brahma Nishkalam Ananta Shashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Bhajami Maya hi yasya jagadanta satani sute Traigunya tad vishaya veda vitayamana Pavalam viparasattam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasataya Mahanasu Yaha Praninam Pratipalam Samitatu Vedya Leelayatena Bhuvanani Jayati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Golokanamini Jadamini Chale Chakasya Devi Mahesha Haridhamaste Te Prabhavanishaya Vihitascha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami सृष्टे स्थिते प्रलय साधन शक्ति रेखा छाये वयस्य भुवनानि विभक्तुर्गा ज्ञानरूपमपि यस्य च तेष्टतेषा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रीरं यथार्थ विशेषयोगात् संजायते नहि तथा प्रतिगच्छेतो यः सम्भुतां तथा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपार्चिचेव हि दशान्तरमाभ्युपेत्य दीपायते प्रवृत्तहेतु समानकर्म गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः कारणवते भजति स्म योगात् इन्द्रामनन्त जगदण्ड सरोमकूपा आधारशक्तियवलम्ब्य परां समूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्य जीवन्ति लोम विलजा जगदण्डनाथ गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भस्वान्यशेषु तेजः श्रियं ब्रह्मा एष जगदण्डविदानकर्ता भजामि
युगं विनिधाय कुम्भ प्रणाम समये सदस्य जगत्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं भजामि
यस्माद् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं भजामि यक्षुकेश सविता सकल ब्रह्माणां राजा समस्त सुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजः यस्य गया भ्रमति संवृत कालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं भजामि धर्मोत्थपाशनिश्चितस्तपास्मि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं भजामि यस्मिन्द्रगोपमहेन्द्रमहोत्सकर्मा बन्धानरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यमक्रोधकामसहज प्रलयादिभीति गौरवसेव्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रेयाकान्त ध्रुमा भूमे चिन्तामणितोयमृतं तथा नान्यं नाट्यं गगनमपि चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तदस्वादम् अपि च सवत्यश्रावति श्रवति सुरभिश्च सुमहान् यो वा व्रजति अजे श्वेतं
तमहं यद्गोलोकमिति यम्
तस्ये शान्ति समिता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Very nice, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll worship Srila Prabhupada.
You're singing or no?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll sing Narsimati.
Okay, till 8 o'clock, because Prabhuji will join then.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahladaini. Prahladaini.
Yato yato yamitato narsema. Yato 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 yamitato narsema. Yato narsema hridaye narsema. Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Hamadim Sharanam Prapadye.
Narasimhamadim sharanam prapadye.
Singhamadim Sharanam Prapadye.
Tavakara kamalavare Madhuta Singha Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tanu Bringa Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamala
Nakam
Madhuta Singha
Dalita Hiranyakashipu
Tanu Bringa
Keshavadita Narahirupa
Jagadisha Hare
Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
Badrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare.
Jaya Nrsimhade, Jaya Nrsimhade, Jaya Nrsimhade, Jaya Nrsimhade, Jaya
Narasimhade, Jaya Narasimhade, Jaya Narasimhade, Jaya Narasimhade.
Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya
Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
विनिर्माण नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय
Jai.
जय
Jai.
गीता गौर प्रमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Hari Bol.
प्रभुपाद
Kirjan over there, 2 minutes.
कीर्तन
2 minutes, yeah.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hariharaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Keshavaya Namah Hariharaya
Nam Krishna Yadavaya Namaha,
Yadavaya
Yadavaya
Keshavaya
Namaha.
Aya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Hariharaya
Nam
Namah
Krishna Yadavaya Namaha,
Yadavaya
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Govinda Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan Gopal
Vindam Sri Madhusudan Girivara Gopinath Namahan.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Chaitanya
Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita.
Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shriva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Shriva Gopala
Sanatana Bhatta Raghunam
Shriva Gopala
Gopala Bhatta
Bhatta
Raghunam.
Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shriva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Sanatana Raghunam Jiva Gopala Bhatta Raghunam.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandan Jaha Gote Vignanasha Visha Puran Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandan Jaha Hote Vignanasha Avishta Puran Jai Gosai Jai Mori Taradas Tasabare Pagnare no Mora Panchagas
Jai Gosai Jai Mori Taradas Tasabara Padmare no Mora Panchagas
Tadera Charana Se Vibhakta Sanibas Janami Janame Hoye Abhilash
Tadera Charana Se Vibhakta Sanibas Janame Janame Hoye Abhilash Jai Gosai Jabe Braja Koila Bas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Jai Gosai Jabe Braja Koila Bas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhavan Anand bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bajai Aman
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koriyas Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narotamadas
Shri Guru Vaishnava Vaishnava Padma Koriyas Nama Sankirtana Kore Narotamadas Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri
Shri
Madhusudan
Madhusudan
Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath
Madana Mohan
Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Hari Haraya Nama
Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol.
जय गौर प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much, Kanchan Mataji. Wonderful Kirtan. Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhamma Pranam, Gaudiya Prabhupada, Jai.
Thank you for joining and nice to see you after a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's very, very nice to see you all too. By Krishna's mercy, happy to be back again. So, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj Ki Jai.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhamma Pranam, Gaudiya Prabhupada, Jai.
Some devotees have gone to New Jersey because His Holiness Jaipatak Swami Maharaj is here.
Right.
To see him, and they have gone.
I believe he's coming to Atlanta tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow is coming.
Amazing how he does it. I don't know.
Bye.
So, definitely Prabhupada's mercy on him.
with this condition, it's so difficult.
It's amazing. It's amazing how he does it. Of course,
And
he's very special. He's empowered by Prabhupada. And that's how I think things are going on.
Prabhupada disciples have some special power.
For sure.
and
All
how
right.
is your health, Prabhuji, now? Ajit Krishna Prabhu.
It's okay, Prabhuji. It's just a little up and down, but by Krishna's mercy and the blessings of all of you, the devotees' blessings, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's nice to actually have this devotee sangha, because I think it is more and more clear to me that this is trying to glorify Krishna, and being in the association of devotees is the best thing. Definitely the best.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Mukta Sangha Prabhuji, are you doing well? You are coughing little.
Yeah, I
Are you
have
okay?
a little cough and cold. I have, but that's okay. Material body, it comes and goes.
As long as just a small cough and cold, that's all right.
Yeah.
Let's carry on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabhuji. So I don't know, the last time, it's been a while. So are we going to do any recap or anything, or what?
Yeah, we'll do quickly a recap. If I remember correctly, we were discussing 4.11, I think, 10 and 11. And then later, the very next session was taken by Nayana Abhiram Prabhu. So he continued with the same thing. I think 9, 10, 11, I think. 4. Yeah.
Yeah, he was focusing on 4, 9, I think, that day.
9 and 10, I think.
Okay.
So we can continue with the same thing, Prabhu.
11.
Yes.
Okay, we can start with 11 then.
Yes, Prabhu.
Any, would you all want to, in 2 minutes, just quickly share some thoughts on what was discussed on 4, 9, and 10, that kind of thing? Otherwise, we can just move ahead if you.
Yeah, we can move ahead, Prabhu.
Okay. So let's start with the 4:11. So who would like to read? Any kids in there?
Kids, Shravanti Mataji, Surat Prabhu is there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. He'll read in the next shloka, Prabhuji. He's in the rest.
Yeah, okay. So no kids. Narsimha Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
4:11.
Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam statheva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasah. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pratha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. 4:12. Mukunda Prabhu, you want to do?
Which verse is it?
4:12.
Mukunda, your voice is very low.
First verse, Prabhuji?
12. 4.12.
Okay. It will take me some time to open. I don't have it open.
Okay, so you can do the next one. Kirtida, you want to do?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं
कर्मणां सिद्धिं
यजन्ता इह देवतः
यजन्त इह देवता
क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके
क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके
सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा.
सिद्धि भवति कर्मजा.
Translation: Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very well. So either Surat Prabhu or Mukunda Prabhu can go with the next one.
Prabhuji, I'm ready.
Okay, 413.
Yes, Prabhuji. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam
Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam
na karma vibhagasa
guna karma vibhagasha
tasya kartaram api mam
tasya kartaram imam
yaktaram avyayam
vidya kartaram avyayam.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Surat Prabhu, you have to repeat 411?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, 411.
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते
तांस्तथैव भजाम्यहम्
तांस्तथैव
भजाम्यहम्
मम वर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः Hare Krishna.
Translation: As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. O son of Pratha. Thank you, Prabhu.
Very nice. Thank you, Spurti. Yes, Prabhu.
So, is somebody reading 12?
Anybody wants to read 12?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes. Who is this?
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Surat Prabhu, go ahead, please.
कांक्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवतः क्षिप्रं हि मनुष्ये लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा. Men in the world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods quickly. Of course, when get results from fruitive work in this world.
Thank you, Prabhu. Surat Prabhu.
I will do this text number 13, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Please.
Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasah tasya kartaram api mam siddhi akartaram avyayam And translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human societies are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Ramshyam Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu, we start with the
Yes, please.
discussion. Let's say the invocation prayers. Om Agyantamindasya Gyanandana Shalakaya Chakshur Umetam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Shram Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So 4:11 Ye yatamam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajami aham mama vartamano vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Prabhupada in the translation says, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of God. So in so many different places, Krishna has indicated that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything happens because of his will. He is the Supreme Controller. He is the Supreme Enjoyer. He is the only Purusha. Many different places these points have been made. And here again, in this verse, also Krishna is reiterating that point. He says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajami aham. Aham means I. Krishna says, I am the one who rewards people. But how? According to the way they surrender to me. As all surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So if somebody surrenders to him 100%, Krishna takes 100% care. As Prabhupada says, Krishna's ultimate instruction is Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just surrender to me. And he's saying now, before you fully surrender to him, there are different stages of surrender. Some people are more surrendered than others. And so here Krishna is saying that as they surrender to me, depending on their degree of surrender, I reward them accordingly. So Krishna's, he's very interested in reciprocating, but he cannot force. He doesn't force his will upon us because he's given us this minute independence, whether we want to choose to serve him or not. So therefore, this is another indication of the independence that he's given us, and that he never interferes with that independence. He doesn't take it away. And that's why he's saying, as they surrender to me, according to their will, how much they surrender to me, accordingly, I reward them accordingly. Now see, it's very interesting. The reciprocation here is, you surrender and Krishna rewards. You surrender, Krishna rewards. So how much you surrender, accordingly he rewards. So it becomes very clear for us that if we surrender fully, he will reward fully. That's what Prabhupada says in so many places, like in his purports, that a pure devotee of the Lord who is totally surrendered to Krishna does not even worry about his maintenance, because everything is left to the sweet will of the Lord. And that's true. I mean, we realize at some point in our lives, we realize that we don't control anything. There's somebody else who's controlling. We may want many things, but we don't control what we get and what we don't get. So here it is very clearly elaborated by Krishna that as you surrender to me, I'll reward you accordingly. So if we become familiar with this and we become 100% clear in our mind that this is how Krishna, this is his word, and this is how he, I don't want to say this is how he operates, I mean, but this is what his plan is. So knowing that, it becomes very clear to us that surrendering completely to him is really the best option, because then he will take full care of us. So in the purport, Prabhupada actually explains many things, and there's this nice quote that he gives from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Akama Sarva Kamova Moksha Kamadharani, that even if somebody wants to achieve liberation meaning merging into the impersonal effulgence of the Lord rewards, Lord gives that also. Krishna says, okay. But Krishna also explains in Srimad Bhagavatam that there are these three types of realizations. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, Shabdite. Three types of realizations. And Prabhupada has actually explained these three types of realizations very easily in a very easy example where he says that the first stage of realization is the Brahmajyoti realization, then the Paramatma realization, and then the Bhagavan realization. And the analogy he gives is that of a train. You all have heard that example before, that analogy before, of the train. So, Ramjan Prabhu, you want to say something about that, Muktasanga Prabhu?
I heard about this. I heard about the sunshine, sunlight, and sun also. That's another.
Right, that's another one also.
And another one, third one is like mountain, if you see from the far. So if we see mountain from the far, we just see a black kind of thing. And when we go little closer, we see like, little bit kind of the trees and all. But when we really go on the mountain, we see that, even some animals, some, like the flowers, actual things, how on the mountain.
Right. So there are three types of realizations. And so Krishna says that the best is that if you come to Bhagavan realization, not remain stuck in impersonal realization or just stop at the Paramatma realization, but come to Bhagavan realization. And why? Because in Bhagavan realization, one realizes, one understands clearly that Krishna is a person just like we are, and that it is possible to reciprocate with him as we reciprocate with other people. The way we reciprocate with our boss, or we interact with our boss at work, then there's some reciprocation. We come home, we reciprocate, or we interact with our friends in a certain way, and there's reciprocation. With the family, we interact in a certain way. So these are relationships that we see as common relationships, but Krishna says that you can have a relationship with me too, because I am a person. And many faiths actually do not understand this concept, that Krishna is actually a person. And as a person, he is very interested in reciprocating with us, in interacting with us, in having a one-on-one relationship with us. And therefore, there are these 5 different types of rasas in which he reciprocates with devotees. So part of the message that Krishna is giving here, that, okay, either you reciprocate or you try to approach me and try to understand that I am a person. So that's the Bhagavan realization. Then within Bhagavan realization, there are these 5 different rasas in which you can reciprocate with me. But even for those who don't come to the Bhagavan realization, Krishna has a plan for reciprocating with them also. But he says that of all these 3 stages, the best is Bhagavan, because once you are a devotee of the Lord, reciprocating with or wishing to reciprocate with the Lord, interact with the Lord as a person, then you will never have to come back again into this material world. But those who aspire for impersonal realization, there is a chance that they can come back into this material world. In Bhagavatam, they say, Aruya Krichena Param Padam Pada Patanti Yada Anaditra Yushmad Angraha. That people who undergo many austerities and difficult sacrifices to try and attain the impersonal feature of the Lord, they may eventually attain it, but they will fall down eventually back into this material world because Anaditra Yushmad Angraha, they haven't understood the personal feature of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna recommends that we focus on bhakti. And bhakti means they have to be 2 people. And there is reciprocation between them. And Krishna says, I am a person, just like you are a person. It's just that I am the supreme person. And I'm conscious of everybody. We are conscious only of ourselves. As the Bhagavad says, Nityo, Nityanam, Chetanas, Chetananam, Eko Bahunam, Yogadati Kama. That Krishna is one person, but he's aware of the consciousness of everybody. We are only aware of our own body, our own consciousness. And so Krishna says, understand me like that. Think of me as that person who is supremely conscious and reciprocate with me, engage in my devotional service. And then he goes on to say in text 12 that because we are in this material world and we are covered with this material body, we are governed by the 3 modes of material nature. So Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamogun, they impact us, and we've discussed this in the past also. These 3 gunas, they impact our consciousness. And because they impact our consciousness through our senses, the gunas control us by controlling our senses. And if we don't control our senses, the gunas will control them, and then we will just keep running behind the dictations of the gunas. So Krishna says what happens is that when we are under the influence of the 3 modes of nature, we have all kinds of material desires. And to fulfill those desires, we approach, or the practitioner approaches, the demigods. And Krishna says, you see, the management of this material world is conducted under Krishna's law, but the demigods are empowered to control different aspects of this material creation. And so when people don't fully understand that the purpose of human life is to actually come out of this material entanglement and to be situated in just service of the Supreme Lord, when they don't understand that, they have all these priorities. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And these things, these desires can be fulfilled by the demigods. And therefore, Krishna says that men in this world desire success in fruitive activities. And therefore, they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So by performing certain sacrifices, you can quickly get results. And so people think, wow, this is wonderful. We know there is a supreme power. I believe in the supreme power. And if I perform these sacrifices, we get these results. This is wonderful. And so they start following that process of worshipping demigods and getting results. But Prabhupada explains in the purport that those results are temporary. The demigods give benedictions, but they can last for a certain amount of time. When that time is over, the benedictions are gone. Then you have to start all over again. So Krishna says, why look for temporary relief or temporary so-called happiness while you're in this material body, in this material world? Seek a permanent solution. The permanent solution comes through bhakti by getting out of this body, not by setting the stage to get another body. By performing sacrifices and pious activities, we set ourselves up for the future to get another body in which we can enjoy the results of those sacrifices and penances and so forth. But if we engage in bhakti, then we are not setting ourselves up to come back to this material world. We are setting ourselves up to exit this material creation. So that's why Krishna is explaining here in text 12 that the position of the demigods and also the logic behind, not the logic or the psychology behind why people worship demigods, because they are in this material body. We all in this material body, we have material needs. But when we can't look beyond those material needs, then we just seek solutions to our material problems. And that's why he says they worship demigods, they get results, but they don't realize that these results are temporary. And then actually from text 13, the focus is shifting a little bit. From text 14, from text 13 onwards, Krishna is starting to explain how to remove ourselves from this material attachment. And he says, in order to accomplish detachment or removal from material attachment, he's created the system of the 4 varnas and the 4 ashrams. Chatur varnam maya shishtam guna karma vibhagasha. So this is a very scientific method that Krishna has created in order to help anybody and everybody get free of the influence of the modes of material nature. He says, depending on what mode of material nature is predominant in you, you have a certain type of nature. And those can be divided into, or those can be summarized by the qualities that exist in these 4 varnas, Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, and Shudra. And so Krishna says that I have created this based on guna and karma. Guna, karma, vibhagasha, chatur varnam, maya shishtam. I have created maya shishtam. Why? How? Based on guna, karma, vibhagasha. Vibhag means category or partitions. So based on guna and karma, your qualities or nature that you have acquired from the influence of the modes of material nature. So those are the gunas. And according to the what gunas you are under, you'll have certain karma. So based on your guna and karma, vibhagashaha, Krishna says, I put you into one of these four categories. And then what happens? Tasya kartaram apimam. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am the non-doer being unchangeable. With the akartaram avyayam. So Krishna says, I have created the system to help the living entity. I am above the system, but the living entities, I have created this system so that they can come out of this entanglement of birth and death. And this shows us how compassionate Krishna is. He's saying you don't have to feel disqualified, whether you are a Brahmin or a Kshatri or a Vaishya or a Shudra. You don't have to feel disheartened that you cannot achieve bhakti or practice bhakti and come back to the spiritual world if you're not a Brahmin or if you're a Vaishya or a Shudra. He says, because depending on whichever varna you're in, I have prescribed duties for that particular varna, such that by performing them, the duties, the activities that are appropriate for your varna, you will be elevated to the position of bhakti to the Supreme Lord. Now, this was 5,000 years ago that Krishna explained all of this. And he is so kind that 500 years ago, he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said that regardless of whether you are Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra, Sannyasi, Grahastha, Brahmachari, whatever you are, if you follow the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and follow the four regulative principles, you will be purified. So Krishna very mercifully came to distribute Krishna Prema as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he said that, and that's why he is called the most merciful incarnation. He said, regardless of whether you are qualified or not, if you just follow this simple process, and regardless of which varna you are part of, where these four varnas, he says Chaturvarna, so the four varnas, regardless of which varna you're in, you just follow this one process. So all four varnas, Krishna has further simplified them in Kali Yuga and said, you simply chant the holy name of the Lord, follow the four regulative principles, and you will attain Krishna Bhakti. Now, how can anybody give such a powerful recommendation or such a powerful process unless that person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself? So that's why sometimes people question, how do you know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, that he himself is Krishna? And there are so many references in the scripture about which indicate that Krishna appears in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us this process. So that is his extreme mercy, and we are super fortunate that we have the knowledge and exposure to this process that Krishna has given us. And we have knowledge and familiarity with the process only by the mercy of the acharyas and the devotees. If we stay in devotee association, we learn about this process. We follow this process. We feel motivated to follow this process. We feel enthusiasm to follow the process. If we don't stay in the association of devotees or the Shastras, then our interest in following this process will dissipate. By staying in the association of devotees, that nurtures our desire to follow this process. And that's why Mahaprabhu says, must always keep the association of devotees, must always stay in the association of devotees in order to be able to follow this process nicely. So Krishna, out of his supreme mercy, appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he gave us this wonderful process. Despite what is said in text 13, because in text 13 he's indicating that there are different processes for attaining the Supreme Lord, depending upon which of the four categories you belong to. But in Kali Yuga, Krishna has made it even easier. And so there are so many references in the Shastra to which indicate that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. And one of them is that the Lord is referred to as Tri-yuga, meaning he appears in 3 yugas. And so sometimes people interpret that as saying, well, he appears in 3 yugas, not in Kali Yuga, not in the 4th yuga. And that refers to basically that in 3 yugas he comes as a Leela avatar. He comes to perform Leelas. And that's why there are Leela avatars in 3 yugas. But in Kali Yuga, it is mentioned clearly that he comes as Channa avatar, as a hidden avatar. He incarnates, but he comes as a devotee. He doesn't say that I'm God. Mahaprabhu never said I'm the Supreme Lord. But when those around him, the pure devotees around him who observed his symptoms, who observed his characteristics and his behavior, they could immediately connect it with what was given in the Shastra and determine that here is the Supreme Lord. It is said that he will appear with a golden complexion, Gauranga. His anga, his limbs, his body will be of Gaura color, golden yellow, molten gold color. So anyway, there are many references of that sort. So that's why in text 13, what we summarize from our perspective, the takeaway for us is that despite the fact that Krishna has given different processes for each of the 4 varnas, we today follow the process of devotional service, and it applies to whether you are, regardless of bodily designation, which varna you belong to. It doesn't matter which nationality, which race, nothing. It doesn't matter. You just follow this one process and we'll be successful. So it's 8:50, Prabhu. I'll stop here. We can do questions and comments and so forth.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. That was really wonderful.
Krishna.
You can please unmute. Anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself. Or you can share your reflections.
I was going through the purport of that 11th verse. So, I mean, very well, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very well you mentioned, like all the way for all the verses. So there, Prabhupada also said, like, as you said, for the devotee, realize in the relationship 5 rasas. So other apart from the devotees, non-devotees also realize in the different way. Like Prabhupada says, the fruity workers, they realize as Yagneswara, those who do the yagna and they expect the fruits from that yagna, and Yagneswara, like impersonalists like Brahmjyoti, you mentioned that one, and yogis, they realize the mystic powers. So Krishna says somewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, like, I'm the mystics of mysticism, so like that. So yeah, just wanted to mention that, Prabhuji. So, and devotee overall realize as in the 5 rasas.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, so like as Yogeshwara, Krishna says that I am the the Yogeshwar, Ishwar of all yogis, the topmost of all yogis. And so when the yogis approach me, I am actually the one who's giving them the result. So, and that's why Prabhupada explains there very elaborately about Yogeshwara and so forth, that regardless of whether you are a yogi or a bhakta or a personalist or whatever spiritual realization you get, it is given by Krishna. So that's a very, I mean, we are very fortunate to have Prabhupada explain it so clearly. Otherwise, we would not have known. And, you know, scholars will argue, oh, but there's this angle and that angle. And Prabhupada puts all of that to rest here.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up, Ramchandra.
Thank you, Prabhu. And Prabhuji, can you little elaborate on this? You quoted Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetnanam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidyadati Kaman. So, yeah, just, I mean, translation I understand from that, but if you can put little light on that, so it will be helpful.
That probably basically refers to the fact that Krishna is saying that I am the single person whose Chetana, whose consciousness pervades everybody. So I am aware of everybody's thoughts and desires and position. And he says, you as an individual soul are only aware of your own position, your own body, your own pleasures and pains and so forth. But Krishna says, I am aware of everybody because I have created. So he says, if you meditate upon me in that manner, if you think of me as that person who's aware of everybody, you'll realize this is one way of us realizing how great the Lord is. People know that God is great, but actually realize how great he is. This is one example he's giving. He says, think of me as a person, as that person who's aware of everybody. Can you be aware of everybody? He says, no. You know, we are only aware of ourselves. So that's one of the points of that verse.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Krishna.
Also, Prabhu, I want to share one reflection because one
Yes,
of my friends is not actually Krishna consciousness. He's not in Krishna consciousness. So he asked about this sloka, right? So that means that whatever we give to Krishna, he will reward us accordingly, right? So he says that if we give Krishna flower fruits, then I will get flowers and fruits. If we give Krishna water, then I'll get water. I don't need water. So they have this misconception, whatever we give Krishna, he will give us back. You know, so it's not like that. That whatever we give in love, and Krishna will give accordingly what we lack. That is described in another sloka also, right?
Right. I preserve what you have and I provide what you lack.
Exactly. So that is actually that's the meaning. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is what we have, this misconception, like whatever we give Krishna and Krishna gives us back the same. So that is why they put in Tirupati would be they put like 1 lakh so that they'll get 1 lakh back, 10 lakhs back. So it's not that like that. But anyways, so I just wanted to share that, bro.
No, that is very interesting, and you're right. I mean, and that's why Prabhupada emphasized so many places that it's not a barter system with the Supreme Lord. You know, everything belongs to him. Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mutta sarvam pravartate. I mean, I am the origin of everything. So if you're giving me 1 lakh, that in any case belongs to me. How what makes you think that you are giving it to me? as if Krishna lacks that 1 lakh and he's waiting for us to make that donation. You know, it all belongs to him anyway. So it's like when we do the arti and we are offering the light, the lamp to the Supreme Lord, the Lord says that you know, I've asked you to do this process just so that, to remind you, so that you realize that I am the giver of light. And by showing me that light, you are not making me, you're not giving me something that I lack, but you are acknowledging that this is what I need and I have gotten it from you, so I'm just offering it to you. So that is the piece that they miss, like what you were saying, the person that you know who is not in Krishna consciousness, their thinking is they take this so literally. Ye yatha mam prapadate, that if you give me a flower, I'll give flower back. You know, if you give me water, I'll give you water back. That is a very literary interpretation and limited interpretation uh, of the verse. The concept of that everything belongs to Krishna, and that we realize that, and therefore we offer to him in gratitude and thank him that you have given us all of this. We are just giving you a small piece of what you've already given us as gratitude. Then Krishna reciprocates 1,000 times.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That's why, yeah, thank you, Prabhu. That's why Guru is required to impart the knowledge and give the gyan, right? Prabhuji?
Right.
Otherwise, Guru and devotee. Otherwise, if Guru and devotees are not there, so as you mentioned, association is required to surcharge. So we can interpret ourselves only, whether Krishna conscious or non-Krishna conscious. So, and we are having minute knowledge, so and so much of defects, so we cannot like get the proper meaning of that. Yeah.
Now that's a very important point that you made. That otherwise, that we will only understand according to our interpretation if we don't have the guidance of the Guru and the devotees in the Shastra.
Right.
And our interpretation can be any nonsense also, you know.
Right.
That's why Prabhupada says this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. No interpretation, no personal interpretation. This is how the Lord has actually explained. You were saying something? Sorry.
No, Prabhu. I was not saying. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for all the explanation. It was very wonderful. How you mentioned about how a pure devotee of the Lord is fully surrendered and does not care about one's maintenance and all. It just reminded me about one pastime of Srivas Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Lord asks him that in Kali Yuga, everyone has to do something. Then how will you maintain your family, your near and dear ones? So he just says that I have you, so I don't have to.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Narasimha Prabhu. Today you brought up Srivas Thakur's name. Actually, today is a very auspicious day. Day of Srivas Thakur.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Thank you, Narasimha Prabhu. It's so nice on this day that you brought it up. Very nice.
What's that, Prabhuji? I missed. Can you please elaborate that? Srivas Thakur with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what was that conversation and what kind of Leela was?
Yes, Srivas Pandit, and when Srivas Pandit and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were together, the Lord asks Srivas Pandit, how does he maintain himself? Like, how are you maintaining your family and your sons and all that? Because in Kali Yuga, everyone has to work and do something, but I don't see that you are engaged in any kind of like formal occupation. So Thakur lovingly replies that he has the Lord with him, so he does not have to be worried about bodily maintenance and all those things, since he's a pure devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji, for bringing up. Yeah, I remember now. It's similar to that. I remember the name. That king, who was that king, Prabhuji? That he did Ekadasi and he broken his Ekadasi just before.
You're talking about Amrish Maharaj.
Amrish Maharaj, yeah. So
And
Amrish
Durvas
Maharaj,
Muni.
right. So he was also only engaged in devotional service throughout the day and night. He was doing that. So Lord Sudarshan Chakra was protecting his kingdom and
Right.
Sarvadharmam Parityaja Mam Ekam Sarvada. So if devotee surrenders fully, so Lord takes care of everything.
Absolutely.
And also thank you, Prabhu, about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga, because if we see the what is in the Gita, then it is like Chaturmayam. That can immediately bring questions like what is my varna and all those things. But yeah, so those points which you mentioned, like how Srila Prabhupada has simplified it for us, 4 regulative principles in 16 rounds. And it just reminded me that in, like Krishna says, Ananyas Chintayantamam. So basically constantly one needs to think of the Lord, but through our acharyas, through Prabhupada, we have some concession to gradually come to that stage. So thanks, Prabhuji, for explaining that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. I think we are good.
Okay, Prabhuji.
And again, nice to see you, Prabhu, after a long time. So
Likewise, Prabhuji, it's very nice to be back in everybody's association and get your blessings. So thank you all very much. And Krishna willing, then next week we'll meet again to glorify the Lord. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Pastu Vacha
Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaः. Vaishnav ki jai.
Nam Charidas Thakur ji
ki jai. Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Krishna.
Jai.
Yeah.